All right, let's get started.
Let me just mute everybody real quick.
Okay. We might have to unmute some folks.
Picture and a name.
I will.
Okay, but I can't see it from here. I mean, at the.
All right, Debbie, you're unmuted.
Okay, thanks. All right, we have a few agenda items to go over. I sent the agenda out a little late, so if you didn't notice it, it came at about 5:30 tonight if you do want to follow along. If not, no problem. I'll just go through some of these and the other board folks will as well. You probably saw in the newsletter that Marianne sent out the end of last month that we have decided that our meetings through year end are going to be Zoom only. When we're able to meet again, and we don't know when that is, of course, meetings will be both Zoom and in person. So there'll be options for both. So you can either come or you will be able to participate via Zoom. The same thing will hold true for speakers and judges. They may be remote or they may be in person, depending on geography. We may try, as we did over the summer, to get some out-of-area speakers and possibly even some out-of-area judges. There are clubs that are kind of swapping judges with other regions like the New England Camera Conference. So, you know, it could be interesting, and both speakers and judges alike, we could get some folks that we have never had before. So it could be very interesting. The church as of yet is not open. We do not know when it will reopen. So we really don't even have the option of knowing when we can go back in person. Obviously, we'll look at that again around December and decide if we can do a combination next year of going back and virtual. Okay, Matt, you want to talk about next year's the voting for next year's competition topics?
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot right away. Sure. All the topics are put up on our website to be voted on, and I will show you where you need to go to look for that. In 1 second. Share. This one. This one. All right, so here's our website. You go to competitions, go to ad hoc, and then you go to vote, which is here. Click on that. Then choose right here in the top, 2021 competition themes. Click on that. And then over here to the left, click vote. And all the themes are right here. So you can click on them and you give your score, whatever you want it to be. Read the theme, give a score, go to the next one. Read the theme, give a score, go to the next one. There's a lot of different themes here, as you can see. And we only have 10 that are going to be the top choices. You have, what did we decide, Debbie? October 7th was the date?
Yeah, we'd like to, that'll give you 2 weeks to go through them, October 7th.
October 7th to vote. And then after that, I'll put them together as whatever the top ones are. And then the steering committee will pick out what top 10 go to which month.
Can you talk, Matt, about a little bit about the voting, the 3 to 9, and voting on all of them and all that good stuff?
Yes. if you don't like this topic, nostalgia or history, give it a 3. If you love the topic, give it a 9. And when you give it a score, I'm going to give it a 6 for now, just because. Click on the score, and it's going to bring you to the next one. It's that easy. You don't have to click on anything else. Read this next one. It's street art and graffiti. This is the instructions for your street art and graffiti. Your photograph must include a building or a wall displaying art, murals, graffiti. The challenge here is not just to take a photo of someone else's artwork, but to make it your own artistic photo. That includes someone else's artwork. If you don't like that topic, give it a 3. If you're not sure for now, hit no score. You can go to the next one. If you're done for the moment, you can hit close, and it'll close it, but you can go back to it later and take a look at it.
Do they have to, I can't remember, you might have to unmute Will.
You can go back later and give it a different score.
Yeah, but I think if you exit, don't you have to click on record your scores before you exit?
You might have to do that. Let me unmute Will, and he can verify that. Or if Debbie can, or Valerie can unmute him. Let me see.
That is correct.
There he is.
There he is.
You need to record your scores, otherwise.
So before I exit out of this page, I have to hit record scores, otherwise it doesn't do nothing.
Correct.
Okay.
But you
And
can
you can
still,
vote as many times as you like. It's whatever the last time you record your scores, that's what's kept.
So if I go out of here, these scores will stay here for me, but they did not go to where we'll read them later. Is that correct?
no, you didn't leave it though, Matt.
Well,
No, you have to,
I'll leave it now, and then if
yeah,
we
go back and,
I lost everything. Is that what we're saying?
that's what, yeah, you should have lost everything.
Okay. Yes, I did. Okay. So then, yeah, you have to go through them all and decide before you close the page, and you have to hit record scores.
Well,
Or
you can do it in several things. If you want to just vote on the first 10, record your scores, and go back in.
Okay, then the first
Vote on the
10 will
next
be
10.
saved,
Yes.
and then you can go back and record more later.
so whatever you have put in on October 7th, that'll be what's final.
Excellent.
And 2 other notes, Matt, if
so
you want, you can, they can vote on their own, correct?
Their own.
Yeah,
Will's still unmuted.
they can vote on anybody's.
Yes. People can vote on their own topic if they want to, yes.
Right. So if you like your own topic, give it a 9. Don't be shy. That's fine. One thing, I would not use the no score button. I would just leave it blank if you have to go out and come back in. If you really don't like something, you're better off giving it a 3 than not giving it a score. And the reason for that is your 3 will get counted in the average, but if you don't give it a score, then
the
it
average
doesn't
will
get
not go up.
counted at all.
Yeah.
So you really should try to give every single topic a score, whether you like it or not.
And as you can see, there's lots to choose from here.
Yeah, it's about 40 something, I think we had. Some very interesting ones. I have to say, really unusual topics and a lot of variety. So I think we'll be well served by picking. We'll have no trouble getting 10 from this that are going to be interesting.
44 of them there are.
44.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Thank you, Matt. And you're going to send out an email, right?
Yeah, I'll send out an email reminder and just letting you know the exact dates. But basically we have 2 weeks, and we'll announce the winners at our next competition. Is that correct? We're doing it 10. Yeah, I believe that's the right dates. The 7th. Yeah, well, actually, before the next meeting, we'll be able to announce them.
Yeah, Terry Donofrio put a note in the chat, and he's right. This is different than when we do voting for like the PSA, which photos are going to represent us for PSA. You can't, in those cases, you can't vote for your own topic or your own photo. In this case, you can. So that's one difference. Okay. Let me go back to the agenda. Thank you, Matt. That was great.
Not a problem.
Can you please unmute Valerie so she can talk about speakers change for October?
Valerie can unmute herself.
Valerie's unmuted. So Francisco was going to do Columbia, but he decided to hold off until we can maybe do it when he's a little face-to-face, but that might change. So we were able to just land Ray Hennessy, and he's going to do a talk on photography birds, creatively using silhouettes and backlight. And the description is photographing birds with the sun behind your subject can be quite challenging. Using certain techniques and thinking can result in some beautiful and creative silhouettes and backlit or rim lit photos. He will be discussing how to use lighting and create colorful, unique captures, as well as diving into the many challenges this lighting style often creates. So we literally just made that change in the last day or so. So we'll update, well, when I say we'll update the actual website. And feel free to tell one and all. We will open it up to other clubs as well, so we can get a really good representation.
Great, thank you, Valerie. And we do have, obviously it's not restricted to birds, but we do have a topic coming up for silhouettes. So you might pick up some tips in terms of camera settings that will help you generally and not just for birds. Linda, can you talk a little bit about the state of our treasury? It's been an interesting year, obviously. We're coming to a close. We've had some, obviously Zoom costs, but not meeting costs. We haven't had 50/50 income, but we also haven't had any refreshment expenses. What are we looking like? Oh, Matt, could you unmute her, please?
Yes, 1 second.
Hold on, Linda.
I'm sending Linda an email, actually. Where is she?
I found her, but I can't unmute her.
You can't, do you have to ask her? Let me see. What's it say? What's her name? Oh, ask to unmute. Linda, you got to unmute yourself. You're unmuted.
I hit the button.
Okay.
Okay. Right now we have $3,367 in the coffers. The only bills I've paid since our last meeting in June were for the post office box, the Zoom meeting fee, and for this month's judges. So $162.78 has gone out since the June meeting. Not having to pay the money to the church has saved us a ton of money. But so we're still good, even though we're not taking in 50/50 money and that kind of stuff.
Terrific, and we're coming up on year end, so we'll have membership renewals. So it sounds like we should still have a cushion going into next year, and we don't know what will happen next year in terms of when we can get back to meeting. But I will point out that we actually will have an additional expense starting next year that we don't have, which is as we have decided to run both Zoom and in-person meetings, we are going to have a monthly expense of, I think it's about $20, Matt.
It's $15.89.
Okay, so $15 for the Zoom meeting. But hopefully we will attract some new members. Maybe we'll get back some of our folks that have retired and gone to Florida or whatever, and hopefully they'll rejoin, and hopefully everyone that's on this call is planning on re-upping for next year as well. Melinda, PSA, do you want to talk about?
I asked you to unmute, Melinda.
Okay, can you hear me?
There you- Yes.
All right, so the deadline for the first round is November 1st. You can enter up to 6 images. Only levels 2, 3, and 4 will be able to vote. And I have to send out the permission slip from PSA. I haven't done that yet. Most of you filled one out, I don't know, last year or the year before. But I got an email from Nancy Speaker, and they want a new form, which is supposed to be a lot easier. So I'll send that out to everyone. Linda, you'll have to send me an updated AOL listing for any new members that are on AOL from the list that I've had before, and then I can send it out. That's about it.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Terry, NJFCC. Can you unmute Terry?
I've asked Terry to unmute.
I have. Okay, about the only thing to, we had a very, 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 underline the very good Photorama remote with one of the best speakers I've ever heard, Charles Gatzler. As far as anything goes, the competitions are coming up. On October 4th is Pictorial, okay? And it's got 2 groups, Creative, where you've done enough processing so it looks like you did something, and Open. Open is anything that you can't put in nature because it's got a hand of man in it. So anything you put in Pictorial, either one of those 2 categories must have a hand of man. Okay, if it doesn't have a hand of man, it looks like a bird with no hand of man, and it should be in nature, they'll disqualify you. And the only thing you got to remember is the number 2. Okay, no matter how many categories there are in NJFCC, you can only put in 2 photos. So if you put 1 in Open and 1 in Creative, you're done. If you put 2 in Open, you can't put anything in Creative. If you put 2 in Creative, none in Open, okay? And when we get to the 18th, that's nature. That's no hand of man. There are 4 categories, 2 photos total across the 4 categories. All right, so just remember the number 2. I'll send out another reminder because nobody's listening to what I said tonight. So, and hopefully you'll read the reminder. Probably won't read that anyway, and you'll ask questions. All right, so just try and remember the number 2. I'd be happy if you did that. That's it. October 4th.
Thank you, Terry. That's great. Actually, I'm of the mind that people listen better than they read. So hopefully, I
Maybe.
think everybody heard your message there. I have a few items that I'm just going to go through quickly. For anyone who wants to enter the Philadelphia Center for Photography, their Transformations competition, the deadline has been extended to October 15th. So you have until then to open. It is an online only competition this year, and anyone who enters will be given the opportunity to be judging. There isn't going to be a judge. It's going to be judged by the participants. So that should be interesting. And again, it'll be online only. There isn't going to be, they actually have, Henry actually no longer rents that space. So I think he's going to rent another one at some point, but that space is no longer there. So we'll be an online virtual competition and an online virtual exhibit. Pinelands 2021, that exhibit and competition, the deadline for entries for that is January 31st, if anyone's going to enter that one. I wanted to say, I said this the last meeting, but I missed mentioning stands. So both Lynn Hodwe and Stan Pepka won awards in the 2020 Middlesex Senior Citizen Art Contest in the photography division. Lynn won first place and Stan won second place, and that's wonderful, and congratulations to both of you. John, my John asked me to mention that tomorrow, September 24th, from 3 to 4, B&H Photo is hosting a webinar with Vincent Versace, and he is going to be demonstrating various Photoshop techniques. It's the conclusion of a 4-week, I think it was 4-week series. The first 3 weeks, he critiqued photos that people sent in, and now on this webinar tomorrow, he's going to be taking a couple of the photos where he had suggested changes, and he's going to be showing in Photoshop how to change them. So it's free, but you do have to register. So if you go to the agenda that I sent out from the CDC Club News email, there is a link there to sign up. And also, if you will please check your email, earlier today from the CDC Club News, I sent out an email about, it's got a survey link. The Camera Club for River Point is going to be hosting Mike Moats. He's going to be doing a presentation on macro photography, and they want to know what days and times are better for people. It'll be, I believe, Valerie, I believe it won't be until November or December that they have the actual presentation, but they wanted to know what would be more convenient. Unfortunately, for those folks who work, he does not do evening presentations. He only does daytime. So, you know, if you can get away during the day, you'll be able to see the presentation. I went and looked at his website today. It is really, really phenomenal. So if he's anywhere near as good a speaker as he is a photographer, it should be a really, really good presentation. Okay, I think we are done with business. I have a bio here for Al Brown that I'd like to read. Did anyone have anything else, Matt?
No, but while you're reading that bio, I'm going to be turning off people's videos.
Okay. All right, I'm going to read this because this came directly from Al, so I'm going to read it in Al's voice. It says, hello, my name's Al Brown. I started my photography journey as a teenager, inspired by my father. I put down the camera through college years and much into my career as a union electrician, now retired. I got the bug again during my honeymoon in 2002. My entry into club photography came by way of a chance meeting with a friend and mentor, Ben Benizio. In 2007, I joined the Cranford Milburn Camera Club, and the rest, as they say, is history. I am a past president, vice president, digital chair, and federation delegate at Cranford Milford, and I am still a trustee there. I am the former pictorial chair for NJFCC and currently am its first vice president. This is my 3rd year as judge for the Federation. I have an appreciation for all genres of photography, but I think street photography is my personal favorite. I reside in the borough of Garwood with my wife, Jean, and our 2 children, Darby and John. So welcome, Al. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me. I've been down to your club in person at the church 2 times, I believe, and a 3rd time as a guest. So always good to come back. You folks have always done good work and made my time in the seat rather challenging. I expect nothing different than that tonight.
Terrific.
Excellent. All right, we have 4 groups. Our first group, unfortunately, did not submit anything, so we have no images to view there. So we're going to be starting with our second group. There's 15 images, so that's going to give us a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 3 honorable mentions.
Okay.
And,
Oh, Matt, I forgot something. I'm sorry. Before we get started, one thing that's going to happen that I'd like you to also watch your email is Matt and Tom O'Rourke are trying something new this this competition, that we're going to be sending out some award certificates. And I'd be curious, I think we'd all be curious after you receive yours, if you're lucky enough to get an award tonight, to give us some feedback on what you think of them. So thank you, Tom and Matt. And I believe also Marianne's going to be involved, because she's going to be the one actually sending out the emails. But Matt and Tom are going to make sure those certificates get produced and those get sent out. So thank you to everybody. I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt.
All right, I've turned off the chats. If anybody needs to ask something, you can send Valerie a question, but other than that, you can't talk amongst each other. All right, and we're ready. There's 15 images. This is the second group. And here we go.
All right.
As soon as I share the screen. You can see the
Oh, are
screen?
you standing up?
Yes.
Wow, good for you. It's a long time to stand.
All right, can see the screen?
Yes.
All right, we're good to go. Here we go.
Our first image is called Bathing Beauty.
Okay. You have an interesting subject here. I think the image is appropriately titled also. Your eye goes right to the doll inside the sink, which is good. I like its placement in the frame. I think the image is sharp where it has to be. I certainly like the fact that the background is nicely muted. Even though it is a little bit bright in some spots, it's by no means distractive. And I think it allows you to focus squarely on the doll and the sink. And that's where your point of interest wants to be in this photo. 8.
Old wow, this is hard to say. Old Olga's Diner.
Okay. You have an interesting subject here. I like the fact that you have a little bit of a panoramic feel, almost of a leading line type of presentation here, starting with the left-hand corner of the building and going down with the sign, and the building, because of the perspective, getting a little smaller. So I like that here. You kept your sky to a minimum. And I think that works well for you here. The sky itself doesn't have all that much interest. And you caught a nice, interesting subject. These are not always the easiest items to photograph. And I think you did well here. I think if I was going to make a small comment, hoping you folks can see my arrow here. There you go. I think at that little point right there, I probably just would have cropped and brought that down, cropped that angle out. It's not really detracting from the image per se, but just to have a clean edge to start out your frame with, because the left corner of the building is a little bit of a leading line. Just to take that out, I think would have helped it a little bit. But you have a nice image here, 8.
Ramshackle Hut.
Okay. Again, another interesting subject. These are always kind of cool to find. If you happen to be going through the woods, or you're on someone's property, certainly the condition of it is the main focus here, and I think that works fairly well for you. I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the shack or structure itself. And maybe you could have cropped out a little bit of the bottom and a little bit of the top, to keep the focus on that. I think you handled most of the elements here fairly well. The lower left-hand side here, because of the sun, is a little distractive, but there's nothing blown out there, nothing that's really holding your eye there, even though it gets drawn there. I think you did well for the subject you had at hand, 7.
All aboard Abandoned Express.
Okay. You picked an interesting angle here and perspective to shoot this from, so I think that's very cool. Kudos to the image maker for taking the time and effort to get low to shoot this. I like the fact that the hole in the floor kind of anchors the image, and obviously you have the leading line going all the way back to the rear door. Obviously here, the drawer here is all the graffiti and stuff. Even some of the abandoned items on the floor add a great deal of interest to it. I think you had an interesting subject, and I think you did pretty well with it. I like this a lot. 9.
Multi-level disaster.
Very appropriately named. I think you have an interesting subject here. I think you did fairly well handling the exposure here. So you can see some detail all throughout, even in the rusted irons, and looks like a railroad tie actually, and also in the branches, in some of the concrete. So you did well with your exposure. If you hadn't, you wouldn't be able to grab all that detail in there. I like the composition too. I like the fact that it's not just a straight on presentation. I think I would have added just a little bit of a kick with the saturation, just to accent some of the rust color, rust tones here. But I think you did fairly well otherwise. 7.
Abandoned greenhouse, Route 22 West, Greenbrook.
Okay. Certainly an interesting subject. I've actually passed by this structure a couple of times myself, traveling Route 22. I think you picked a nice angle here to shoot this from. And obviously, the structure's been sitting like this for quite some time. So I think you did a nice job capturing the state of decay here. Certainly all the ivy and all the underbrush growing all adds interest, and I think you did well capturing all that. 8.
Into the woods.
Okay. Another interesting subject and structure here. Obviously, the big draw for me immediately is the what's left of the roof for the porch here of this house. And obviously, you can see that it's been abandoned for a while by the overgrowth. So I think you did well here with that. I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more in terms of your exposure being brought up. A little bit brighter, I think, would have added a little bit more interest here. But as presented, I think you have a nice subject and appropriate for the contest. 7.
Forgotten power.
Okay. Certainly a nice subject you have here. This is a really cool looking structure that you have here. And I think you handled it fairly well. There's still some nice detail you captured in the rust. It's not soft by any means. And I think you did well with your presentation here. I think I would have liked to have seen you just crop this a little bit over here so that your spacing between the two rails in the front of the car is a little bit more symmetrical. And I think that keeps your focus right in the middle of the car. And I think that's where your big draw is here with all the rust and the paint, the different colors, patterns of the yellow and black on the car itself. But I like it as presented, 7.
On the hot seat.
No doubt about that there. You have a interesting subject here. And I think you did fairly well shooting it here. I think your saturation exposure looks fine. I think I would have tried to maybe spin around a little bit towards the front of the statue, just to give a little bit more of a look onto its face. But as the image maker presented this, I think they did fairly well for the subject matter, 7.
Abandoned Cookstown Diner.
Okay. Very cool. These are kind of difficult to grab. There's a diner up here in my neck of the woods I tried to do this to and was promptly shooed off the property by a county police officer. Very nice. She treated me very respectfully, but she reminded me that it was still private property. I didn't want any problems or hassles, so I left. So I'm a little jealous you got this shot and I didn't. But it is a nice image. I just think in some of the darker areas, maybe in the corners, you could have lightened that in post. Lighting up the shadow slider, I think would have added a little bit more overall impact to it. But you certainly have a nice image here, 8.
Poor Christine.
Okay. Very interesting subject. These have become more popular. If I could add a personal note really quick. I don't buy into the mantra that because something is popular or people or have photographed it a lot, it doesn't make your image as a photographer any less important or impactful. It's all about how you handle it, how you see that particular subject and how you want to present it to others. And to tie that into this vehicle, I think you did fairly well. I'm kind of on the fence about the selective focus here. I love the fact that the grill and the Oldsmobile emblem are really, really sharp. But I think because they're a little further back in the image, and the front headlight is a little bit brighter and occupies a little bit bigger space, I think it takes away from it a little bit. But you do have a nice subject here. I like the treatment that you had here, so I'll give it a 7.
Train number 6, out of service.
Okay. Another perspective of the car, we saw a couple images before. I like the fact here that this is a little bit more symmetrical, as I pointed out before. And even though this is more of a straight-on presentation versus an angle, I don't think it takes away from the interest or impact. You have a little bit of a leading line with the old railroad ties down in the bottom of the frame, leading you into the weeds and up to the car. So I think that element works well for you here. Again, I think you could have pushed your saturation a little bit to really hold your eye on that car. But I think you did well here, 8.
Filthune, New Jersey, abandoned 1850.
Okay. Again, another nice, strong, interesting subject here, especially for the topic. I like the perspective that you have here, shooting up into what's left of the roof of the porch again. I think I would have tried to crop a little bit of this area here, just to bring everything back onto it. And when I say onto it, onto the porch of this house. But it's an interesting subject. There's still some nice detail in some of the wood, some of the clapboards here. So I think you kind of have that going for you too. 7.
Not so pretty in pink.
Okay. Nice image, very interesting. The color tone adds some nice interest to us also. I don't mind the fact that you put a vignette around here. Just curious about how it was applied. It looks like it was applied after you put your border stroke on, which does impact this a little bit. As a judge, you're taught to work yourself in from the center of an image and out towards the edges. So that little conflict there between the border and the vignette is a little strange. I wouldn't call it distractive. I think you did a fairly decent job handling the main subject here. So I'm not going to let that really detract from my score. 8.
Hidden relic.
Okay. Interesting subject you have here. And I think you handled it fairly well for the most part. You do have a lot of sky above the top of the structure, which is fine. There is some interest because of the shape and the texture in the cloud, so that's okay. I still would have cropped a little bit off the top here, but that's a choice that the image maker decided not to do. The structure in the foreground is kind of your anchor point here. Doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to be as sharp as it could be. I would have liked to have seen that be at least as sharp as some of the brickwork in the front walls of this structure. Perhaps it's an old church or an old school. But as presented, it's an interesting image. 7.
Okay. We have 1-9. So that's going to be a first place. We have 6 8s. So we need a second, third, and 3 HMs out of this.
Okay. Can you bring them all up at one time?
Yeah, you're going to see thumbnails at the bottom, and I will scroll through them.
Okay.
So there's 6 of them. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th one. And I'll just scroll back and forth.
Okay. I think this one, Olga's Diner, will be third place.
Third, okay.
And I think this one will be second.
This is second, okay.
And I have to drop one of the other 3 for the HMs, correct?
Yeah, one of the other 4. Yep.
Matt, just, why don't we, I'm gonna play Linda here because she's muted. Why don't we give them all HMs? There's no reason to eliminate one.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. HM. 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 And HM. All right, now we'll review this contest. And we'll get rid of that. And here we are.
Okay. Honorable mentions. Abandoned Greenhouse, Route 22 West Greenbrook, Pat Curzel. Congratulations, Pat.
Very nice.
Abandoned Cookstown Diner, Tom O'Rourke, honorable mention. Congratulations, Tom. I want to know how you got in there.
He obviously didn't do anything illegal.
Obviously not. That's right next to a gas station, so it's hard to sneak in. Train number 6, out of service. Terry Donofrio, honorable mention. Congratulations, Terry. Not So Pretty in Pink, John Curzel, honorable mention. Congratulations, John.
Very nice, John.
3rd place. Old Douglas Diner, Tom O'Rourke. Congratulations.
Very nice.
And 2nd place. Bathing Beauty, Ed Horniker. Very nice, Ed. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ed. All right. We're going to go to group 3 now.
Or do you want to take a break, Matt?
I think we'll take a break after group 3
Okay.
because we have 36 images in group 3.
Oof. Okay.
So you got your work cut out for you, Al.
Light the candle.
All right, here we go. Score contest. Here's group 3, 36 images.
Drive-in through weeds.
Okay. Really cool subject here that you have. I like the fact that it's offset in the frame. I certainly like the selective color treatment. And here in this particular presentation, it really pulls you into the vehicle and keeps you there. Yeah, you're going to look at the rest of the photo too. The background is nicely muted. There's some nice bokeh going on there. Whether that was in camera or in post, but it's fine here. I like the fact that there's a little vignette going again, and all those elements, very subtle, but they all work together to keep your eye and your attention on the car. I do like this a lot. 9.
DK Door Decatur.
Okay. Nice image you have here. Obviously the draw here is the difference in the color and the texture of the 2 doors. They look fairly sharp to me here. I like the fact that you left enough of the brick wall on either side for them to act as kind of like a frame for the doors. And the fact that there's some vegetation growing out from the cracks inside looks really cool. I think you have a nice image here. 8.
Place of Memories.
Okay. Another nice image. Again, your main subject here was handled fairly well. Love the fact that you were able to include an interesting sky here, or I should say capture it. I think that all helps out with the overall interest of the image. I think if this was going to be a little bit more impactful, more I just clicked on there. From that point down, I think if you had cropped that down, having some of the vegetation here is part of the scene. It's part of the whole feel of something being abandoned. I don't know you need that much of it from my pointer on the image down. And I don't think you would have lost anything in terms of the overall impact. I think it would have helped it some more. But as presented, you certainly have a nice image here, 8.
Just a small fender bender.
Better call Geico. Okay, another nice dilapidated, abandoned old car here. I'm gonna go and venture and say it's a Ford. This is really cool. I think the head-on presentation works here. Reminds me of the character Mater from what Disney movie is that? It'll come back to me. But in any event, I think you did a nice job here. It's sharp where it needs to be. The colors are nice and muted. There's not a lot of excess space in the frame, and you really don't need it. I think if you were going to do something here, I think just this top part here, where I just highlighted, you could have brought that down and cropped that down so the windshield would be completely out of the picture, because obviously you're looking at the headlights and what's left of the grill, what's left of the bumper perhaps. That's what your draw is here, and you did a nice job with that. 8.
Broken.
Okay. I like the fact here that there's a little juxtaposition going on between the window and the background space. It looks like maybe it's under renovation because of the lights and the scaffolding, and I think that kind of works. I think from my perspective, though, I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the entire image. And I think, the application of this type of border or frame here works against you a little bit. Only because the outside part of it is white, and it does keep my eye going out to the outside where you really want your focus in towards the window and the interior space of this structure, whatever it happens to be. So I think given that fact, I'm going to give it a 7.
Room with a view.
Okay. Very nice interior image here. I love the use of the natural light here to help bring out all the tones in the interior. The light on the ceiling, the floor, and the wall, I think that all works. And in particular, it's easy when you have these type of images to let the outside main light source, take over the interior. And I appreciate the fact that that didn't happen here. I think if I was going to do something here, I think I probably would have eliminated this area on the right side of the frame altogether. Again, just to keep your focus on the interior, and you did a really, really nice job here, 8.
In need of windows.
And a little bit more. Nice subject you have here. I love the leading line of the rocks and the moss growing over it to the structure. This sky is not as interesting or as impactful as the one we saw a few frames back. But there's enough definition in the clouds that it doesn't take away from the main structure, which is kind of cool. The building, to me, from an artistic standpoint, almost looks like it has its own little face going on, and I think that's kind of cool. 8.
I'm still standing.
Okay. Very nice image you have here. You know, I love the tones in the foregrounds of the grasses and the growth. You did a nice job with the structure itself. You know, still a lot of detail in the clapboards and in the roof. I like the fact that there is some sky there, but you kept it, you know, down to a reasonable size. I think that works for you here. Overall, a nice presentation, 8.
Quick sale.
Okay. I like the panoramic type of cropping and presentation you have here, keeping things to a minimum, top and bottom, to really keep your focus on the building itself. You know, some folks might say that the two elements here going across on a diagonal in the front of the house and on the side garage there or shed, a little distractive. I think it's cool. I think it adds a little character to it. I think I would have liked to have seen you raise the exposure a little bit on the front of the building, nothing crazy, just to kind of help level things out a little bit. You know, the ivy on the left side of the home itself, which was probably a bedroom, there is some detail there, not a lot. That's an exposure issue. I think if you had brought that up a little bit, I think it would have made for a little bit more impactful image, but I do like this, 8.
Old Cranberry Barn.
Okay. You know, I like this image. I think you did a fairly nice job here. I like the fact that the window is not in the center of the frame. I like the fact that it was shot on an angle. Certainly it's sharp. You know, there's detail in the wood all throughout. You know, and I think you handled the exposure fairly well here. If you notice at the bottom of the window, there's a shadow that's created by a piece of wood. And that indicates that this was taken at a time of the day where the sun was fairly high. So it would have been easy to have your exposure get away from you and lose all the detail that you have in a lot of these elements. So I want to commend the image maker for doing that. But this is very nice. I like this, 9.
I'm sorry, Al, what was the number? What was the score?
9.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. Thank you.
Urban decay on the boardwalk.
Okay. You know, you have an interesting subject here. You know, you have a nice leading line going down into the back third of the image. You know, your sky looks fairly interesting. There is some detail in the clouds, not completely flat. You know, people along the boardwalk add some interest too. I think here I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more of an even tone on the building. And I understand that the front of it is in bright sunlight. And while none of that is really blown out, you know, from a tonality standpoint, there's a difference here between the front of the building and the side of the building. As you can tell by the time of the day it was shot in. I think if you had dropped the brightness in the front of the building or raised the shadows on the side of the building going down, I think that would have perked this up a little bit more. 7.
Looking out my back door window.
Okay. You know, really nice, interesting subject you have here. You know, I like the fact that you can actually see the interior of the structure through this old window frame. There's, you know, obviously no glass there. So I think that works I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the bottom of the frame of the window, given the fact that you have much more of it up top. Just to give it a little bit more uniformity, to use a word. But you have a pleasing image for the subject here, 7.
Not going anywhere.
Okay. This is a really cool presentation here. You know, the image maker decided to take a macro-esque approach to this and give you a very specific and select portion of this abandoned vehicle. You know, I like the fact that there's just enough of the window missing and you were able to catch the steering wheel. I think that's cool. From an artistic standpoint, you know, I love the reflection in the glass and that you were able to keep that, and you didn't decide to do away with that. I think all those elements work together here for a very nice presentation. 9.
Rusted.
Okay, you know, another nice car here is a subject. I like the fact that, you know, in the upper left-hand corner, you were able to leave the steering wheel hold and also the column shifter. You know, sometimes when we do these presentations, you know, much like when you do a portrait of a human being or a portrait of an animal, you don't want to get into a situation where you start clipping off body parts of those other 2 subjects. So I like the fact that you left that in whole. I think here with this image, the strength here is up from the fender in through the mirror and into the window and the steering wheel and the shifter column. I would say from that point that I just put on the screen, from that point going to the right side of the frame, there you probably could have cropped that out and you probably would have had a little bit stronger image, just focusing on everything in the center and the left third of the photo. 7.
In disrepair.
Okay. You know, you caught this at a nice angle. I don't know that you caught it from the ground, but I like the fact that it was from a lower perspective, at least as far as I can tell. You know, I think the ladder leaning up against the building adds some interest. Certainly presenting this in black and white does help. You know, when black and white is done for this particular type of subject matter, and if it's done well, it's very impactful. Tells a great story here. I think you did fairly well. I think what works against you a little bit, though, and I hate to be a broken record, but you know, that top left-hand corner of the photo where the sky is really is almost like devoid of any detail or interest. So I think you could have probably even cut down the photo maybe like about 15–20% from the top down. You still would have been able to see some of the gutter and the roof line to the right of the building, and made that a little bit more impactful. But you do have a nice subject that was handled for everything below the sky. 7.
Lana Koning silk mill shoes.
Okay. Another very popular destination for people to go and photograph. This is the first type of photograph that I've seen from this location myself personally. I think you did a nice job here capturing the shoes, and obviously, you know, that's your draw. That's where your eye goes right away, at least it was for me. You know, all the other spools and rolls in there as a background do add interest. You know, they do go to help tell the viewer where this was taken. So I think you did a nice job here overall, 8.
In days of old.
Okay. You have a nice subject here. I think this is a really cool presentation. And again, you know, the black and white treatment here works very well. I think, again, the thing that works against you is a little corner of sky. And here, the sky is lacking detail, but I think if you compare it again from a tonality standpoint, because it is brighter, not blown out, but it is brighter than some of the other elements, my eye keeps drifting up to that corner, unfortunately. And you did a really, really nice job with the base and the anchor of this image otherwise, 7.
Kudzu versus Mill.
Okay. Very interesting subject here. I thought you caught this at a nice time of the day. You know, there's a popular mantra that you shouldn't be shooting at high noon. My reply to that is there are certain types of photography that are better shot at early morning or later in the afternoon or evening. That is true. But really, it all depends on your subject and how you treat that subject as a photographer. You know, I think 95% of this image works. I think the one thing I would have liked to have seen you do is just this cluster in the lower left-hand corner. I think I would have liked to seen you tone that down, because if you look at that and then you look at the ivy behind it, maybe there's a difference, and I hate to do this, maybe there's a difference of a third of a stop or even 2/3 of a stop. And because that, it kind of works against you. But otherwise, everything else in the frame is handled fairly nicely. You didn't clip any part of the building off on the upper right side of it. You know, you still have enough base on the bottom where you can see some of those windows. So I think that's all good. I think if that little cluster had been toned down a little bit, I could probably give this a little bit better score, 7.
Standing still.
Okay, similar to the first image we saw, again, you know, I like the treatment here. Obviously, this is not a selective color, but I think the colors here that are presented in the vehicle are nicely handled. They're not overblown. Saturation's up enough where it really keeps your point of interest. You know, the background is nicely muted, again, whether it was done in post or done in camera. Everything here works really well. I like this this image too, 8.
Dead space.
Okay. You know, this is a very cool black and white presentation. And, you know, from an artistic standpoint, I like the fact that it's not straight up and down. I don't mind it being presented on an angle. I think it's kind of cool. I think it forces you to look at the image. And I think having those feet in the bottom part of it is really cool, part of the leg also. I think I actually would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. So you probably, if you can envision this, if you could have just taken this entire frame and just slid it down a few percentage points to include more of the feet and more of the leg, I think that really would have made this pop. But as presented, I think it's a really cool concept, and I think the image maker did well here, 8.
Lost entry.
Okay. You know, I like your handling here of this doorway. you know, the floorboard kind of acts as like a little bit of a leading line going up to it. You left enough of that there. So I think that's kind of cool. You know, obviously, it fits the subject matter. I think what works against you here as I'm looking at this, it seems to be a little bit soft. And it's one thing if you're presenting an image that has a soft tone to it, almost like a painting, or you've applied some type of filter to it. That's one thing. I don't get that feeling here. And I think something was a little bit amiss, possibly with your camera focus in the field. 7.
Leftover parts.
Okay. Certainly interesting parts here. And I think they work together well as a group of elements. Certainly because of the different contrasting colors here. I think that's a draw for you. And obviously, you know, the time of year that this was shot in the fall, early winter, perhaps with some snow on the ground still. I think that all works for you. And unlike a lot of my other comments, I don't know that cropping anywhere would have helped this. You know, for my eye is drawn into this. It stays there in the center with all these different parts of these vehicles. So I think that all works. 8.
Cleaned by nature.
Okay. Very nice presentation you have here. Certainly a different type of scene. You know, obviously the vines coming down add a great deal of interest. You know, the collection of leaves in the bowl is really cool. You know, I think you did a fairly nice job here. You know, most of the elements are sharp and they're sharp where they need to be. 9.
New life.
Okay. Very nice presentation. And even though there's a little bit of leading line going past what your subject or your anchor here is, that I think that's fine. I like the fact that you kept the background to a minimum. There's a minimum amount of window space there. And you know, your use of the available light here was really, really nice. You know, there's a lot of detail again through here, and you have that detail in part because you were in focus with your camera, but also because your exposure was really good here. 9.
3 windows.
Okay. You know, I like this presentation. I like this grouping of these windows that you have here. You know, each one of them on their own merit is very interesting. So if you had decided to pick just one out and present that to us, I think that would have been fine. But I like the collection of the 3 of them. I think that works well. They all seem to be sharp where they need to be. You know, your exposure is fairly good here. I think I would have liked to seen the saturation punched up just a little bit. But you know, as presented, I think it's a nice, pleasing image. It fits the subject matter. 8.
I shudder to think.
Okay. You know, this is really cool. You decide to take just the shutter and a little bit of the window here, as opposed to a whole panel type view. And I think that's fine. You know, nice detail. You have all the paling paint, you know, and certainly the individual blinds on the shutter all work very well. Here, I don't know, getting rid of the window, the glass portion of it and the sill would have done anything more. I think you do need a little bit something there to help with your orientation. a nice image, 8.
Reclaimed by nature.
Okay. You know, very cool subject here. I like its position in the frame. It takes up a lot of the frame, which is cool. You know, I think you did a fairly decent job with the saturation. Again, another image that was taken when the sun was at a high point in the day. I think in this bottom corner, I think if you had toned that down just a little bit in post, I think it would have helped you out a little bit. But overall, I think you have a nice presentation here, 8.
Beach walk after Superstorm Sandy.
Okay. You know, again, you know, the coaster has been photographed from here to the 12th of Never. You know, your presentation of it here is nice. You know, the flag at the top adds some interest. You know, there's a seagull or some other type of bird flying around. I love the people walking on the beach. But in terms of the actual subject here, I think you probably could have gotten rid of the pier here altogether and cropped this image from the arrow point all the way to the right and just crop that out and had the rest of your image be your focus, be your subject, because you know the old coaster and the people walking along the beach, to me here is the storyline. I find my eye going back and forth between the coaster and what's left of the pier. 7.
Valves and pipes.
Okay. You know, this is really cool. I like this. This has almost like a still life feel or vibe to it. You know, you did a really nice job with the valves and the pipe work. You know, sharp where it needs to be. It's exposed well. And you know, I like the background too. And while I wouldn't call it completely out of focus, it's not a very strong bokeh. I think it works well here. I think it adds some interest to the image overall. 8.
Scranton lace.
Okay. You know, really cool subject you have here. I think the fact that you filled the frame with it and the fact that you didn't clip off any of the top windows as they go across the top of the frame works cool for you. And again, I like the fact that you were able to utilize the outside light for your light source for the interior of the building. I think I would have liked to have seen more of the door itself here. And again, you know, when judges say this, and myself as a photographer, we all know that, you know, when you're out shooting, you don't always have the convenience of shooting something in a very wide perspective because you're afraid that you're going to lose what it is you're really trying to present to people. I got a kick out of a judge commenting on a picture I took at the George Washington Bridge years ago. I had actually gone over the side of a safety barrier with a friend to take a photo. And the judge is commenting, well, if you'd made a little bit of a move to the left, this would have had a little bit more impact. If I had done that, I would not be here speaking to any of you today. But that being said, I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the lower part of the door here than you have presented. I think that would have added almost a gateway element as a pathway into it. But otherwise, the rest of it's all very strong. 7.
Before or after the fall?
Good question. Very nice subject you have here, very different, and still very interesting at the same time. To go back to a previous comment I made about clipping off body parts with portraits and pet portraits, I appreciate the fact that you didn't do that here. I think that's very cool. The background is a little bit busy, but again, it's part of the environment your subject's in, so you can't do too much about that. I think you have a very nice, pleasing, interesting image here. 8.
The 1771 will be, I couldn't see the last word.
I missed it too, but that's okay. Very interesting subject you have here. Again, the old rail ties leading up to the 1771. Bring you right to it. The yellow paint that's still there and the rust. All points of interest and draw there. And again, to get back to what I was just mentioning about having the ability to move around and being limited at times. I understand the image maker, this is what they wanted to present, and that's fine. Excuse me. But I think really from this part of the image going out to the left, you could have eliminated only because the yellow or red or orange tone of that door is a little distracting. It's drawing my eye out to that. And once I keep my eye focused here on that car itself, I say, wow, you did a nice job. I think if you had a little bit of a different crop or maybe shifted yourself a little bit, here I think I would have been able to do a little bit better with the score if I'd saw more, even the wooded area over here to the right versus the cars over to the left. 7.
Do not enter.
Well, that's no fun. Nice image here. Again, nice black and white presentation. Just enough interest or detail or texture in the clouds for the sky. Even that you kept that at a minimum. There's not a lot there. I like the fact that you do have some of the door still incorporated in part of the clapboards on the left-hand side of the old barn. I think you could have used a little bit punch with your contrast to help give this a little bit more definition. But as presented, I think it's a nice, interesting image. 8.
Trenton Piano Project.
Okay. You have an interesting scene here. Obviously, what's left of the piano being on its backside. The actual TrentonPianoProject.com along the bench adds some interest, the coffee cup, and even the elements on the ground underneath. Here, I think I would have liked to seen you crop this just a little bit. If you can see where my arrow is, just from like that point down, just to keep all your focus on the elements above that point. And I think this would have been a little bit more of a stronger image. 7.
Final Cut.
Okay, very appropriate title for this image. I like the black and white presentation. There's a lot of texture and depth in this photo. So I think you have all those elements working for you. I think I would have liked to have seen you bring the brightness up a little bit, maybe bring up the shadows just a little bit, not much, maybe something like 4 or 5%. And I think that would just have given this just that more, little bit of a pop, a little bit more interest. But as presented, I think it's a nice photo. 8.
Nature's Revenge.
Okay. Here, the image maker chose a nice, interesting subject, the interior of the vehicle. Again, like I had mentioned with one of the previous images, I like the fact that you didn't cut off or clip off the steering wheel. Seeing what's left of the windshield falling in on itself and some of the overgrowth has actually gotten into the car. I like the processing that you did here too. Again, I think it works as a black and white presentation. 8.
All right, we have 5 9s, so we will get our first, second, and third from there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one.
Can I see the one in the middle again, please?
The windshield.
Yes. Quick question. You're taking first, second, and third?
Yes, first, second, and third. The rest are HMs.
Okay, gotcha.
And
Okay.
then you probably need some more HMs, I would
Yes.
assume, Matt.
Yeah. I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be your second.
This is second. Okay.
I think that this image here is going to be third.
Third. Okay.
I think this image with the toilet and the one next to it, I think those are going to be HMs.
Okay. So your car is going to be first.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay. First. HM. HM.
Yes.
All right. Now here's the fun part. Out of 19, we need 6.
Okay. We need 6 out of 19.
I'll go through them. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and that's the 19th one.
Okay. Can you go back to number 5 and start from there, please?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 5th one.
Okay. Keep going. 5, 6.
It's 5, 6. This is 7.
This is 7. This
8,
is
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
oh,
14,
sorry. Can you go back to the black and white that's on an angle? That one? No, keep going.
This one?
That one. Yeah, what number is that?
10.
And I get 6 out of this?
Yes.
Anyway, I could do 7. If I can, it's okay.
No, because I already added 1, so.
Okay, not a problem.
It's 6.
Okay, can I see 3 and 4 one more time real quick?
Sure. This is 4,
Okay,
and that's 3.
okay. Your HMs are going to be 3 and 4.
Okay. 3 is an HM. 4 is an HM.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 8.
8 is an
Number,
HM.
yep. Number 15.
15.
Okay. 18.
I'm sorry, 18 you said?
18.
Okay. 17, 18.
And did I give you number 10?
No, I don't think you did.
That should be my 6.
All right, let me go back. 10. Nope, 6. Okay.
Okay, that should be my 6 HMs then.
Excellent.
That was tough. A lot of good images there.
All right, we're going to review the contest, and then we're going to take a short 5-minute break.
Sounds good.
Okay. First honorable mention, just a small fender bender, Dawn Gilchrist.
Very nice.
Room with a view, Francisco Gomez. Congratulations, Francisco, Dawn. Lana Koning Silk Mill Shoes, Kathy Tatana. Congratulations, Kathy. Dead Space, Marianne Martin. I knew it. Congratulations. Knew that was yours. Clean by Nature, Valerie Williams. Honorable mention. Congratulations, Valerie. New Life, Francisco Gomez. Honorable mention. Congratulations again. Valves and Pipes, Vicky DeVico. Honorable mention. Congratulations, Vicky. Final Cut, Rose Scudari. Congratulations, Rose. And third place, Old Cranberry Barn, Christina Kay. Congratulations, Christina. Second place, Not Going Anywhere, Sue Fielder. Congratulations, Sue.
All right, I'm going to put a 5-minute timer up. And we can unmute everybody, and we'll have 5 minutes. As soon as I find everybody. If you want to unmute yourself, you are welcome to do so.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
I'm going to say good night to everyone. I have to be up in a couple hours for work.
Okay, good night.
Night. I'll see everybody next time we have a meeting.
I love the one with the feet. That was great. Oh, that was excellent. I just texted with her. I'm still surprised that she got an honorable mention. It should have been third place. As far as I know. No, I'm not on mute.
Did you have a model for that one with the feet? Or was that a doll?
Oh, God. I don't belong. Okay. In second place.
All right, we're going to start back up again here. I'm going to mute everybody first, and then I'll unmute Al and Debbie. Give me 1 second. You're unmuted, Debbie?
Okay, yep, I'm good.
You're unmuted, Al?
Yes, sir.
All right. We have 10 images left, and this is our group 4. And then you get the task of doing the best of show.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so here goes group 4. And I share my screen. Let's just make sure you can see it.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, here we go.
Ford truck.
Fix or repair daily. You have an interesting subject here. And I know you folks are tired of hearing that, but it's true. It is an interesting subject here. The maker taught to give us. I like the fact that it's on a little bit of an angle. It was shot on a cloudy day, so the lighting is pretty even throughout, and that's good. It works here. Gives you some detail. Even in the panels along the back part of the pickup. I think the problem that I have here, it's a couple of things, and because this is your upper class, we have to nitpick just a little bit. I think one of the things that's kind of working against you really here is a perspective. You could have cropped this a little bit tighter or left it as is, that's fine. But given the background elements that you have here, the newer shed off to the left, let's see if this is still working. This gentleman here in the background, this window, and again, small things. I think you might have been better suited, especially for the subject matter, to have picked out a little bit different angle or a different portion of this vehicle to concentrate on. Not a bad presentation. I don't want to give anyone that impression. I just think it would have been a little bit stronger from a different perspective and from a little bit of a different angle. 7.
Also, I want to mention that there's 10 images here. So we're going to get a first, second, third, and 2 HMs.
Okay.
Abandoned fort.
Okay. Nice image here. Certainly the effect that was rendered in post helps keep your focus on the two windows in the wall. I like the element of the chair in the bottom. I think that helps add some interest. But, for my taste and my liking, I think I would have liked to have seen the vignette effect and the other post processing you may have done backed off a little bit in terms of its strength. I think there's enough interest here from an elemental standpoint. Your focus was going to be in on those two windows, that wall and that chair altogether. That's not to say you had to eliminate the vignette, but perhaps just back it down in terms of its opacity, probably even as low as 50%, and still gotten a similar effect and kept everything in the middle where you really want it. But those elements in the middle of this are still fairly strong. 8.
Homeless.
Okay. Little hesitant here because of the subject matter. I'm not sure having a person or an individual in it, let alone be as strong of an element in the photo, really applies, and I'm going to be hesitant to give it a disqualification, so I'm not going to do that. I think if this had been an open pictorial type of competition, I think this would have worked very well. It certainly tells a story, a very sad, emotional type of story, from the wine glass up to this person, assuming it's a woman, with her head in her hands and the shopping cart behind her with, personal belongings. And if she wasn't there, you would still have a very strong subject. The handling of the building, the handling of the roof structure above her and above the building, all the trash and the garbage in the foreground. I think all that's still very strong here. But again, I'm going to give this a 7 just because I don't want to disqualify it and because all the other elements here were handled very well. And again, if this had been an open subject matter type of competition, I think this would have gotten a little bit of a higher score. The image maker did well here in terms of telling a story, though. 7.
Seagull.
Okay. You picked an interesting part of the door here. Certainly, all the textures, the tones, the saturation all work well for you here. And in this instance, I think it would have been a little bit beneficial if just this area here, whatever value you want to attach to it, 5%, 7% of the image on the left-hand side, you just could have cropped that out altogether. Everything else here in terms of the subject matter is very strong. It all works very well. So to crop out that little 5, 7% of the photo from top to bottom would have improved this a little bit more. As presented, it's a very nice image though. 8.
Left to rust.
Okay. Again, another selective color effect here that was applied to this image. There's some interest in the sky with the clouds. And obviously, I think the car itself is well saturated. It looks fairly sharp. Some of the other elements here look a little, I guess for lack of a better word, funky to me. But again, because the car is so prominent here, and I like the fact that it's in the third, it's not in the dead middle of the photo. I think that does work and help you out here. But there is some softness in the rest of the photo that I can't really attribute to what you would call bokeh. But I'm going to give it an 8 as presented.
Broken chair.
Okay. Very interesting subject here you have. You know, the table and the chair and the empty spools, you know, and certainly the dresser drawers being out or partially out all add interest for me. You know, I think you did fairly well here with those elements. And you did really well with the exposure and using the available light here to help bring up the detail in all this furniture. I think that all adds to this very strong 9.
Abandoned train restaurant.
Okay. You know, nice subject here. It certainly stands out because of the red color of the car. The graffiti on the side of the car adds interest. You know, unlike a lot of pictures, I'm not really sure that including this rock in the foreground really helps you out to anchor the photo, only because your main subject in and of itself is fairly strong. So it's not like this train car is getting lost anywhere else in the photo. And I think I would have liked to have seen you come up, if possible, probably somewhere into this area to include more of the front of the car and eliminate part of this tree here. These 2 trees here in the back are fine. I think just to give you a little bit better perspective of the car itself, to see the entire front of it, I think would have made this a little bit of a stronger image. 7.
Acropolis.
Certainly is. Okay. Really nice presentation here. You know, you did well handling all the elements. You know, things are sharp where they need to be. A lot of nice detail here you have going on. Certainly some interest in the sky. I don't know that it was the sky that was there when this was shot. If so, kudos. Now, I don't know if this is a zoom thing or it was as shot. The sky itself, though, and again, this is your top class, the sky itself looks a little noisy to me. You know, again, your main draw is the building itself or what's left of it. So for that, you know, I'm going to give this an 8.
Bodie sheds.
Okay. You know, this is a really cool image. I like the sky here. Again, there's enough texture in the clouds to give it some interest. So, you know, once you're done with that, the buildings themselves are handled very well. A lot of nice detail in through all the wood from left to right. I like the fact that it takes up a good part of the frame, at least half, maybe close to 60, 65%. So I think that helps you here too. You know, this is a nice presentation, certainly fitting with the subject matter. 8.
No one lives here.
Okay. Very nicely handled here. Again, just to keep repeating myself, you know, the image maker here made the most of the available light coming in through this space. You know, obviously the chair is the anchor here. It's the focal point for me, at least as a judge. You know, I like the fact that you made a point to include the top part of the archway. I think that's all great. And you know, the saturation here is nice. It's not too flat. I think you have a very nice image here, 9.
All right. We have 2 9s.
Okay.
So we need a first and a second out of those. And we have this one or that one.
You know, tough choice between these two folks. They both have similar elements to them, but they're both very, very different. I think I'm going to have to give the nod to the mill image, though, to the broken chair.
Broken chair is number 1.
Yes.
Okay. First place. And no one lives here will be second.
Yeah, I wish I could double up on both of them, but I can't. I think they're both very strong images. I like them a lot.
All right. Now we have 5 8s. We need third and 2 HMs. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one.
Okay, 5 is going to be your third.
Okay.
The door lock is going to be one of your HMs.
Okay.
And you need one more, correct?
One more. That's correct.
Can you bounce back and forth between the car and the Acropolis, please?
Car and this one.
Yeah.
Car.
I think I'm going to go with the Acropolis.
Okay. Excellent. We'll review this contest, and then I will put together the best of show.
Okay.
Okay, honorable mention, Joe Gilchrist, Siegel. Congratulations, Joe.
I bet there's a bit of lead paint in that photo.
Acropolis, Harvey Birnbaum, honorable mention. Congratulations, Harvey. Third place, Bodie Sheds, Joe Gilchrist. Congratulations, Joe. Second place, No One Lives Here, Debbie Aniano, that's me.
Congratulations, Debbie.
Thank you.
All right. Give me a minute, and I will put together the best of show.
Take 2.
It'll probably take 2. It's been 2 months since I've done this. I can hear Tom in the background. Do this. Press that.
Yeah.
Two, 2, 3. there. Copy. All right. All righty, we have 3 images, and we need 1.
Okay.
This is 1.
Hmm.
This is 2,
Okay.
and this one is 3.
Okay. Just to echo what I said as we ended group 4, all 3 of these images are very strong, and they're all very different at the same time, which is very cool. I like that. And as a judge and a photographer, I like to be challenged by things like this. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, these are competitions for a reason, and you do have to pick one. So I think in terms of an image that has overall impact, interest, and sometimes that gets trumped by something that can be very subtle and very simplistic. And I think those are the very words to define all 3 of these images. But as presented, I'm going to go with the one for me that has the most impact. And that's going to be image number 3.
The graffiti?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that is not what we want. We want to do that. Excellent. All right, we'll review this contest. And
Okay, neither you or Valerie can unmute the makers so they can talk about their images as well.
yeah, if you could do that, Valerie, that would be great.
Sure.
Let me just get that up in case you can't do it, though.
If you'll let me.
Yeah, it's if you can't, just let me know.
Okay.
I can't press buttons. Oh, because I'm already in the contest. All right, here we go.
Okay, and this is level 4,
Yeah, I believe so.
and congratulations to Linda DeAngelis for first place in level 4, broken chair. Linda, can you tell us about the image?
That was in the Lacona mill. And I don't know why it's making that noise. Was just the chair and the chest of drawers caught my eye. And I liked that the spools were sitting on the chair.
Very, very nice.
Very
Very
nice. Linda,
beautiful.
yes.
Where was that, Linda?
Linda DeAngelis. Linda, is that the colors as they were, or did you tone that down or change it in any way?
They were about that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way the dirt was.
It was a very dusty, dirty place.
Really
Where was
cool,
it at?
very monotone.
The silk mill, the Lacona silk mill.
Okay. Is that gone now, or that's still there?
I think it's still there.
I think it's still there. I don't know whether.
That's the one in like Maryland or something. South.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah, I think that's still there then. Very nice.
I looked it up. I found the website. It seems to still be there.
Okay.
Okay, and this is level 3, first place, driving through the weeds, John Aniano.
Is this your backyard, John?
Right, yeah, it's exactly my backyard. No, this is Bodie, California, the ghost town. I think I used a wide angle lens, like a 12 millimeter for this one, and it's a lot of post-processing. I use a Nik collection to make it black and white, and made 2 layers and merged them together. And then at Terry D'Onofrio's suggestion, I completely blurred out the right-hand side. It was too prominent. So the buildings back there were just too much. So I blurred them out with the Nick Collection Perspective tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure you didn't use a pinhole, John?
Yeah,
No,
Greg
not a
Greg
pinhole
used
for
the
this one.
pinhole.
No pinholes on this one.
All right. Excellent. Very nice.
Very nice, very nice.
What kind of car was that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. Maybe someone else knows.
A rusty one.
A rusty one, yeah.
And our best of show, which came out of level 2 tonight, is All
Ray.
Aboard Abandoned Express, Matt Ring. Yay,
Congratulations.
Matt.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Where was that? Tell us about it.
This is a train that's in, I guess, Winslow, South Jersey. There's lots of signs that tell you not to peek. And I see that as a challenge, so I took a peek. I didn't draw any of the images on the ceiling, but, this was probably the safest image to post out of there. the least graphic, I should say. And actually, I'm looking at it. It looks like it says COVID 2020 on it, and I don't remember the exact date that I took it. I know it was this year, but it's interesting that I see that on this photo now.
Where?
It's like just below the heart.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the ceiling.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Which
wow.
it might have been March or April. No, it was probably June maybe that I took this image, but
Oh, COVID, yeah.
Yeah, very, very nice. I like it a lot. Nice work.
Thank you.
Great job. Good
Nice.
job, everybody. And Al, thank you so much for a great judging job. You did wonderful. We really appreciate your steadiness and your consistency and your time with us tonight.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate the invitation. As I mentioned during my judging travels and have casual conversations with people, not only as a judge, but as a photographer, I've always appreciated judges that lean towards an artistic viewpoint of images versus the technical, and also judges who are consistent with their judging. And not everyone's the same. A lot of people do tend to go to the technical side. I like to judge things on an artistic basis when I can. It's just those few instances when there are technical elements of a photo that detract from the artistic side that I really feel, as a judge, it's your kind of place to let people know, hey, maybe you can do this to adjust this a little bit, or give a different perspective to kind of eliminate an element in the field. But I appreciate your invitation again, and you guys, are still doing great work. It makes my job hard, but I don't mind looking at good photos. So anytime in the future, if you want to have me back, I'd be more than happy to come.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, Al, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. Take care. Be safe.
Thanks, Al. Thank you very much.
Yep,
Be safe, everybody.
Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Congratulations, Debbie.
Good
John,
night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Matthew,
What is
congratulations.
that?
Thank you. That's my dog barking.
Oh, okay.
What dog is that?
German Shepherd.
He's
Wow.
congratulating you.
Yes. Well, my brother was just leaving and he wasn't too happy, so that's it.
Good night, Shadow.
Oh, everyone left.
Not everyone.
Everybody.
Ed's still
Almost.
here.
What are we, chopped liver?
You're on mute, Ed.
No.
Why can't I see me?
Still
Ed, you
back-
gotta unmute yourself if you want to mute.
You have to start your video again.
No, it
Unmute.
says that
Okay.
All right.
Unmute. Oh, what a
Someone has
hand.
stopped my video.
Well, I gotta see if my points now beat you, Ed.
Oh, yeah. We're running neck and neck. You got 15 points. I only got 8. I'm jealous.
I mean, I might have surpassed you this time.
Check it out. I think I wound up with 56 points.
Matt, can you open up the chat, please?
Open. Oh yeah, sorry. Where do I do that? That's,
Yeah. Did you beat me?
I don't
Son
know.
of a gun.
I don't know what my points are.
You got 15 points. How many you win? Just one? Best of show. First place, best of show, 15 points.
So it's 15 more points on to what I have. Chat's open, Vicky.
I had 48 points when we started. Now I'm up to 56.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know what points I have.
Vicky, that's a great headshot of you, by the way.
Hey, man.
Yes.
It looks like we're going to be promoted.
I'm gonna be promoted. All right.
I don't want to be.
I don't want to
They
be.
had 32 pictures, 32 entries in Division 3. They only had 15 in Division 2.
Yeah.
Better chance to win in Division 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Better to be a winner than a loser.
You got to be in it to win it, right?
That's true. That's true.
Congratulations, Ed.
Thanks. Thank you.
It was very nice.
So where do you see the points, Ed? I gotta. Where do I
On
gotta
the
go?
website.
Yeah, where?
Yeah, check it out and let me know.
I don't look at the points. I don't know.
Oh, I'll have to check it myself.
Gallery.
Okay, it was fun tonight. It really was. I wish we could get back to the church.
Yeah.
We'll be back
However-
there soon. Currently, the church is being used as a pantry. It looked like.
Oh, free food? Let me know.
Yeah, it was loaded with food.
Ed'll be there.
Yeah, for sure. I bring my dog. Oh, I don't have a dog.
Hey, Matt,
Yes.
under competitions, CDCC, and
Oh,
results,
results.
No,
and then you have to choose the level.
Okay. To do it. Okay. Yeah. All right. 41 points I'm at.
41
Yeah.
plus
Does that take
15.
into account tonight's?
No, that's just prior to tonight.
Right.
If that's the case, I beat you by 2.
See, you're still ahead of me.
Thank God. I knew I was good for something. You're
Still
pretty
ahead
good
of me.
yourself. That was a great
congratulations
picture,
to all
Matt.
winners.
That was a great picture, Matt. I really liked it.
Thank you.
Made
That
me
was
jealous.
great.
And Matt, you give lessons? You teach photography? I like to
No,
learn how to take a picture like that.
Yeah. You got to do a little breaking and entering first.
Uh-oh. Is that legal?
But only if you don't get caught.
Oh. I served my time in the Army.
Well, there you go.
2 years. You know, I was a combat photographer. Did you
Oh,
know
yeah?
that? Huh?
You have one of those daguerreotypes, or?
I had a speed graphic 4x5. You know how heavy those things are?
Yeah, I have one of those.
You do? And what's it called? Joe has 2 of them. Joe Gilchrist. He's got 2 4x5s.
Let me turn my video on. I'll show you.
And he takes them out on hikes.
No,
One of these.
a hike light.
Oh, wait. I got to turn the background off. Hold on.
You're the one making that noise during the competition?
41.
There you go, Ed.
Where do you find your points again?
65. Where?
Could you guys hear our cuckoo clock? Not cuckoo, our chiming clock?
Who's cuckoo?
That's
Oh, gone cuckoo. That's not very
Wow.
nice.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
Matt.
wow. That's not a speed graphic. Did you make that yourself?
No, this is a
Oh,
it's a Graflex.
fellows.
RB Auto Graflex.
Oh, really? Wow. You know how to use it? You need help?
Not yet. I don't know how to use it yet.
Oh,
I got to repair the shutter on it first.
Hey, listen, can you use a changing bag?
No, I don't. I have a changing bag for this, but I don't know how to use it.
You're kidding. You just put your arms in the sleeve and you play around in the dark.
Oh, that kind of, yeah.
Oh, you have a changing bag? Because I have two.
No, I don't have a changing bag. No,
Would you
but
like-
this has a card in it that or a sleeve that you can change a couple images inside of it.
I mean, it's modern tech.
I don't know where that piece went, but
You use the holders, right?
yeah.
And use film plates.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't gotten to take it out yet because it needs a shutter repair.
Oh, good luck. That could be very expensive.
Sure, John. I thought I did, but maybe not. I guess I didn't do Mary Ann's either.
No.
Nope.
There you go. We didn't want to see you anyway, Mary Ann.
No, thanks a lot, Matt.
So, Matt, I beat you by 2 points. I'm sorry about that.
I guess I'm going to have to get you next month.
You know,
Where do you find your points? I never even bothered looking. Where is that again? Where are the points?
in the point system.
Under competitions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So let's see, wildlife. I don't know that. You don't shoot wildlife, do you?
Absolutely, I certainly do.
All right. Oh, good. I got.
Did you see the pictures I sent in?
Amphibians are submitted or permitted. I got a couple of them.
I'll have to send you some of my wildlife, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Okay, okay. And congratulations again. It was a really nice picture. I was a little jealous.
Thank you.
You
Yeah,
have the know-how.
It was
Matt,
beautiful.
did you take that with a cell phone or with your regular camera?
That was with my camera. I put the camera on the floor, basically.
Debbie, I
that's what I
love
thought.
yours too.
What's that, Vicky?
I love Debbie's picture too.
Yeah, it was neat. Yep.
I liked all the winning pictures.
What?
I liked all the winning pictures. I tell you, some of those pictures, it's really tough to judge. I mean, a lot of the pictures are really good.
I'm curious, do we have any idea who put the one in that he sort of disqualified because it had the person weeping?
You know, that wasn't a real person. I think that was like
Photoshopped in.
It was a composite, and I don't know why it was just.
Harvey Birnbaum.
What? Yeah,
Harvey Birnbaum put it in.
that was a statue.
we don't say no composites.
No.
We allow for a pictorial type.
Right.
But I think he thought that the person was the
Okay.
focus.
Yeah.
It
He looked-
wasn't abandoned.
The person looked more like the subject and not the abandoned.
Right, and a person can't be abandoned or decayed, so I have to agree with them.
The picture was taken at the sculpture place, I bet.
But he didn't
That was a
disqualify.
sculpture.
It wasn't
That woman was a sculpture. That wasn't real.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That was
Yeah, but he took both pictures, I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he didn't disqualify it. It wasn't disqualified.
It wasn't his.
No.
No, it was an outstanding photo, but I had to agree with the judge on.
I thought it
not
was
really.
The worst thing that could happen to any good photographer is to have a picture disqualified. Ask me how I know.
You wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Ed?
No, 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 not too much.
Good thing.
Not
We,
too
we
much.
don't, we don't like to disqualify things around here.
Good.
It's the first time we've had a judge disqualify something.
Well,
Yeah.
he still scored it. He did disqualify
He
it.
didn't disqualify it. It was.
Well, he
He
kept
would have hesitated. He wanted to, but he hesitated because he
Hmm.
knew that picture was phony.
He didn't disqualify it.
No, I don't
No.
think he